This video does not replace the operating instructions in any way. The operating instructions must be read in full and the stipulated safety regulations observed before using your equipment. The manufacturer assumes no liability for damage due to non-observance of the operating instructions.
Grüß euch, mein Name ist Manfred Kuttner.
Hi, I'm Manfred Kuttner. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to operate our MS-100 blade sharpener correctly. Shirley is bringing it to us on the forklift just now.
The MS-100 consists of the grinding table, the adjustment plate with clamping device, and the grinding unit with electric motor and grinding wheel. In addition to the coarse-grained grinding wheel supplied with the sharpener, Göweil also offers an optional grinding wheel with fine grain. First, assemble the blade sharpener in accordance with the assembly instructions provided. The MS-100 is shipped without a power plug due to the wide variety of power plug designs. The appropriate power plug must be connected by a qualified electrician.
Achtung, Sachschäden und Verletzungen zu vermeiden.
Important to avoid injuries or property damage, always note the rotational direction of the motor. Refer to the operating instructions for the wiring diagram and further information. Using a curved knife, I will now show you the basic settings that apply to all knives.
First, set the adjustment plate. To do so, position the blade in the center of the adjustment plate. The smooth cutting surface faces up and the serrated edge faces down. The cutting surface should be roughly 2 centimeters in front of the adjustment plate. Always fasten the stop bolts at the outermost positions. The knife you intend to sharpen should be at least half covered by the blade holder. You can use the adjusting bolt to alter the clamping strength. Practical tip: mark the contour of the knife's back onto the adjustment plate to make the positioning of the subsequent knives easier. Slide the adjustment plate until the knife's radius lines up with the radius scale on the grinding table. Now adjust the grinding unit so that the grinding wheel is in a central position above the grinding surface.
The next step is adjusting the angle of the grinding wheel to the angle of the blade.
First, loosen the clamping lever and hold the electric motor firmly at the front. Tilting the motor sets the angle. Practical tip: it is easier to set the correct grinding angle with a new knife. Make sure you keep the distance between the guard plate and blade as small as possible. The rotation limiters prevent the grinding wheel from grinding beyond the knife's edges. Personal protective equipment must be worn when working with the MS-100. Switch on the blade sharpener using the green button beneath the emergency shutoff cap. Be sure to hold the operating handle firmly while doing so. The MS-100 can be stopped at any time with the emergency shutoff button. Sharpen the knife with regular movements from left to right until the blade has been completely sharpened. Important: if the grinding pressure is too high, the hardness of the blade will be weakened. This effect is apparent by a blue discoloration of the grinding surface. Do not sharpen knives in close proximity to flammable materials. To switch knives, turn off the electric motor and wait until the grinding wheel has come to a standstill.
The Göweil MS-100 blade sharpener has its own cooling unit, which significantly decreases the heat generated by sharpening, and therefore extends the service life of the knife.
Install the cooling unit in accordance with the operating instructions provided. Fill the cooling unit canister with water. Connect a compressed hose to the dosing unit. Important: the connection pressure must not exceed 8 bar, or 115 psi. Direct the flexible hose so that the nozzle is aimed straight towards the cutting edge. You can control the quantity of water with the adjusting screw, while the misting spray is controlled with the shutoff valve.
If you have knives with a small radius, you must rotate the swivel table 180 degrees. To do this, the following steps are necessary.
Loosen the clamping levers and pull the grinding unit off to the rear. Then lift the swivel table out of the guide, turn it 180 degrees, and reinsert it. You can now fit the grinding unit back onto the swivel table. When doing so, make sure the clamping plates on the underside of the grinding unit are positioned correctly.
The linear grinding unit allows you to sharpen straight knives, like those used with the Göweil G1 round baler, for example.
Fit the linear grinding unit as per the drawing in the operating instructions. Then fasten the adjustment plate to the fixture. Clamp the knife onto the plate. Next, hold the grinding unit so that it is horizontal. And using the linear grinding unit, adjust the angle of the blade to match the grinding wheel. The hinged fittings of the linear grinding unit have 4 recesses located at 15-degree increments.
Sharp knives protect your machine and help to save fuel. We hope our blade sharpener takes the grind out of sharpening your knives. Thank you for watching, and until next time.